Welcome to General Admission. Today is February 16th, and new music is back.
And the Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
Womp womp.
Sorry, Halogens.
Sorry to all our Southern listeners, Southern Jersey listeners. Yeah, that was. Oh, we could talk about the halftime show a little bit. What'd
Which
you
I did
think
not
of halftime?
expect Rihanna to be pregnant.
No, me either. That was there was so many great memes just coming out of the whole thing, which is really like my favorite part.
Like the Mario ones, where like they're putting like Donkey Kong and like Mario
Yeah, I
on
like
like the
this.
different levels of the
Yeah,
platforms.
the Smash Brothers one. It's perfect. I forgot how many hits Rihanna has. Like,
She it was like 15 straight songs. I was like, this was a massive hit. This was a massive hit. And then ones I
right?
completely forgot about.
Seriously, like all the lights. I didn't even know that was a Rihanna song.
I'm pretty sure it's a Kanye song, but she's like the feature.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Like she
That
did
makes
Run
more
This. I think
sense.
she did Run This Town last night, right?
Yeah, she did.
Which is a Jay-Z song.
Yeah, and he was there because everyone was like, "Is someone gonna come out?" No one
Nope.
came out. I thought it was very like a very safe halftime show. It wasn't like someone described it. I read I don't know where I read it, but as just putting on Rihanna's top 15 songs and hitting skip after 30 seconds on each, which is kind of what it was.
Pretty much
But
what it was.
I mean, I didn't mind it.
But
I
for like
like
someone that was pregnant, like that was impressive to just even be up there doing all that.
yeah, for real.
Like
And there was a band appeared for like a minute.
I actually said that out loud during halftime at the party we were at. Like I was like, is that just an empty drum set just sitting there? Like why is and then the band came out. It's like, oh, now it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, they were there. And like knowing none of these bands play always cracks me up because like it was what I think when the Chili Peppers played, it was like a big thing how they didn't play. And they basically said they're like, this is just it's how they do it for this massive event. Like it's if you want to get mad at us, fine, but like we can't actually play. It's just they don't let you or whatever.
Who'd they play with again? Weren't they like someone's guest? Is that J Lo
Uh
and Shakira?
no, I thought it was just the Chili Peppers, but I could be wrong. But either way, I'm thinking of this band down there and like they're not playing. So did they just kind of like look at each other and like I mean
Bruno Mars.
they probably still play. I would still play even though because if you got to fake it, what better way than to actually play and just know like no sound is going out. So it was Bruno Mars and the Chili Peppers.
It was, but I thought
Uh
he was actually playing drums in the beginning of that. That was like such a cool
I'm
opening when he comes
sure
out on the drum set.
last night or this
When the
weekend.
Bruno Mars one, it was
Oh,
like almost 10 years ago now.
yeah. I don't remember. I just remember a big stink about them not playing instruments and learning that like it's just not how it works.
No, which is fine. It's
Yeah,
the Super Bowl halftime show.
I don't need the halftime show to prove to me that the Chili Peppers know how to play their instruments.
No, we know.
Like,
You
I
saw them
don't
over the summer last year, so you
yeah.
know
I don't
firsthand.
I don't think anyone's doubting like Flea or Chad Smith's skills.
I mean, I hope not at this point. Their
Seriously.
fourth decade or fifth decade as a band.
Yeah. God damn. Um also got See Here Now tickets. Good
Yeah, which
job.
is a whole.
Good job to us.
I can't believe it sold out that fast, though. That never happens, right?
Crazy. I think it's just the Foo Fighters bump.
Because like, couldn't you have like bought tickets day of like the last couple years?
That's what I
Or am I
saw.
making that
Like
up?
resale tickets, I think. Unless I think it was resale. I don't know. Because I last year I got my tickets early too. There's something so like I want everyone to get tickets and go and have an easy time getting tickets. From a slightly like we'll say selfish point of view, it is extremely satisfying locking down your tickets and then like watching people panic. I know it
I was
sounds
almost there,
I
and I
know
was
it
like buying at the
sounds
same
it's
time as
fucked
you.
up, but it's crazy. And it's not like I'm like happy of the fact that other people can't get their tickets. It's just nice when you're so used to being in that position to being like, oh, it worked for me. So cool. Like I feel like
You
I
snuck in that
won.
first group.
Yeah, it helped. I had everything saved from last year. So I didn't really, it was like 2 clicks. So, because even last year I was ready on time and I didn't get in the first wave. It went up $20,
That's what happened to me.
which isn't like crazy, but
No.
I feel like I like won a little game.
And this payment plan thing is genius. Like more venues and festivals have to start doing this.
Yeah, real nice. It's 20 up front and then like 48 a month for a few
To like
months.
July. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I mean, a festival for under $300 when
Is a win.
we don't have to pay for housing or anything like that. Like that's as good as it's gonna get.
Because
Throw
like we can
on
write off
cool
Jason at this
bands.
point, right?
Yeah. Yeah, unless like some magical press passes fall into our lap like
That'd be awesome.
yeah, for real. I would gladly I would go. I would have a great time. But we were talking about it. Actually, we talked about this last week. We talked about this a bunch, but I'm excited to see artists that I don't always get to see. So it'll be
Like I was
fun.
listening to Cheryl Crow today, and I was like, oh wait, she'll be see her now too.
You regularly listen, you start each day listening to Sheryl Crow.
But she was my album of the day today. It was a Tuesday night music club,
Oh,
so
she was
it was
on
very fitting.
your list before you knew she was going to be at See Her Now.
She was, yeah. So it all kind
Wow,
of worked out that way.
that's awesome. Yeah, Sheryl Crow. I think Greta Van Fleet, like as much as we make fun of them for just being Led Zeppelin, I
They're
think
gonna put on an awesome show though.
yeah, it'll be awesome to see live. Like I don't really go out of my way to put them on, but that's kind of what I want. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
cool. But
What's their
yeah,
big hit? Like it's like the mountain song, or is that actually like
um,
a Led Zeppelin song?
I think it's called the Jungle Song.
It's some kind of nature song.
I feel like it's something about a jungle.
That's like where he has like that loud squeal in the beginning, right?
Yeah, when he just sings
But
like
it's just highway tune or safari song.
Safari Jungle. I was close.
You were closer than me. I said mountain song, which I think might be a Led Zeppelin song.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it has some cool acoustic guitar. I don't know. I don't remember. Zeppelin has a lot
That
of music.
that'd be a fun game to play. Greta Van Fleet or Led Zeppelin.
We should do that. Just play like a 3 second clip of a
I'm pretty sure we'd get like 50 or 60% of that right
yeah, probably.
at best.
It would be a coin flip each time.
Yeah.
So, new albums this week. Is this the first? This was really like feels like the first week of the year we had multiple like new albums by like major bands.
It was a big week.
Yeah,
And I feel like I knew like Paramore was coming up, but I didn't realize till the day of that Pierce the Veil was releasing a new album too.
yeah. Let's start with Pierce the Veil because I've been listening to a ton of Paramore, so I want to save them. But Pierce the Veil dropped uh The Jaws of Life. I don't know what number album this is for them. One, two, three, four, five, six. No, five. One's a
But they're
re.
first in like 7 years.
Yeah, wow. But I feel like they haven't disappeared during that time, unless
They've had some problematic stuff go on where they had to
uh
remove a member.
uh
Some pretty bad stuff, but he's
oh
no
damn.
longer in the band.
Okay. What'd you think of this album?
So I was pleasantly surprised by it. Like I didn't like it was heavier than what I remember Pierce the Veil being. Like you know me how I don't listen to singles. Like I
Yeah.
missed the Pest and Nirvana release in August. It's like my first time hearing it was on this album, and like holy shit, that song kicks ass. Like it is literally like a tribute to Nirvana that goes extremely hard. But overall, it was so I know like before I listened to it, I saw there's like a lot of negative feedback in like forums and stuff about it. But I think that's just because like lyrically it's pretty dark. as well as musically. It just feels like a heavy album, which I guess considering everything
Yeah.
they've been going through. But I was really happy with like this is a heavier album than I feel like their past. Whoop, did I lose you?
Nope, no, no, I'm here. I'm here. I'm just
Oh, there you
listening.
go. Okay. No, I clicked the wrong thing. I thought I hung up on the call.
uh no, no, I'm here.
But yeah, but I thought like they had like some Pixies, some Nirvana. It was just seems like a grungy emo album in a way. Like, did
Yeah,
you get
I
vibes
guess
like that too?
yeah, definitely. They had like real fuzzy guitars at times and like they took different liberties with the vocals. Like in that Past the Nirvana song, it was very like uh not even sure. I want to say faded out, but it wasn't that's not really
There's some
accurate.
thick bass on that though.
Yeah.
That crunchy bass, almost like corn, like in a way. Not
We're
quite
going
corn, but
we're going a corn reference each episode at this point.
corn's the new fish. I've also never seen them live, so
No, either. I don't think. I think I would remember seeing Corn. I was supposed to see them at Rockville, RIP, the festival that everything got rained out.
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but
But yeah, what do you think of this one though?
I enjoyed it. I thought like I never listened to like a ton of Pierce the Veil, um enough to like remember anyway. Like I've put their albums on, but they were never like a real go-to for me. Um I like this album though. I thought like felt like they kind of maybe played it a little safe. Like I don't know. Uh like it didn't feel like the songs I guess I just thought they'd be heavier. I know you said it was heavy, but I thought they like screamed more. Do they not scream?
Not as much. Like they usually
Really?
have guests do it, like on Paraphernalia, which is like they're one of their bigger songs, like Jeremy from Day to Remember screams on it.
Uh
They had Kellen Quinn on Scream on King for a Day.
yeah, that I mean that's the big
But
one.
yeah, but like they scream sometimes, but usually it's a guest that they have on that does the heavier screams than
Yeah,
Vic. I think his name Vic does, or Vince. Vic or Vince.
maybe
I'm pretty
maybe
sure it's
Vince.
Vic.
Vic. I don't know.
It is Vic. Okay,
Um
I was right.
yeah, I don't really have a ton to say on the album. It was good. I don't really think I'll listen to it a whole lot, but it was cool. I don't know.
I
It
like
was
little
cool.
dazed and
That's
confused.
the official stamp. It was cool.
It was cool, but I won't revisit it.
Pretty much.
But yeah, that's like I haven't really like I've been so out on them, but not like out on them. It's just like they haven't really released new stuff. But like I was more into them in college, like when
Yeah.
they had Selfish Machines in 2010, and what was the other one called? Collide with the
Misadventures.
Sky.
Oh, yeah.
That came out in 2012. Like that's when they feel like they were at their peak. And
Yeah,
then
definitely.
Misadventures, I remember nothing about because I was kind of leaning away from them. And then I heard a bunch of interesting things about this one, so I just like decided to dive back into it. But
Yeah.
it's
Well,
like a
like,
modern day grunge album to me, which I didn't mind because I obviously like that music, but I can see why people had problems with it.
yeah, I just don't know what type of band they're trying to be. Like, I always thought they fell into like the more metal category, but that's wrong. That's just
They're
not
definitely on
not
the lighter
accurate.
end.
Yeah.
They're more like Kellen Quinn's band, Sleeping with Sirens. There we go.
Yeah. I
They're
did
kind of like
want
that, only not as heavy. Maybe that's a bad comparison because they can be pretty heavy, but
I love Sleeping with Sirens. That first album, I listen to it all the time. Or is it their second? With Ears to See and or With Eyes to See, whatever it's called. With Ears
that
to
was a great
See
one.
and Eyes to Hear. Yeah, the
And
other
they got
day
really poppy though.
when it was like 60 out, I was listening to this album because it came out, and then I was like, I really want to just listen to an album that I can like sing along to. And I wound up putting that Sleeping with Sirens album on because they were on my mind since I like lumped them in with Pierce the Veil since so so here's something that I always find funny. Pierce the Veil's number one song by a long shot, is the one that features Kellen Quinn.
King for a Day.
You think that's like bittersweet for them?
I don't. I mean, I think like objectively, it is their best song.
It's a great song.
It's a great song. Paraphernalia would be right up there too, but that's like another feature,
Yeah.
which kind of says, I guess, what you need to say about them, which is maybe why they haven't really stuck to either one of us.
Yeah.
They have to pull in someone from another band we like for them to really dive in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they just that's a good way to put it. They just never stuck for me. I don't think their music's bad or anything. It just doesn't really resonate too much.
I feel like his voice is also like it depends on your taste too, like the high pitch,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I
kind of
could
like
see
Circus
that.
Survive ish voice.
Yeah,
Anthony Green.
they're another one. I mean Anthony Green, I think of Sayison, right? Even though I don't
I
know if
love him
he's
in Seosin, but
I don't know
I've
if he's
tried
on the
so many
album.
times with Circus Survive, I just can't do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were talking about them a few months ago.
Yeah, that was
Forget
like
forget why.
where I tried to deep dive their discography and like literally nothing clicked at all.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah,
All you could do is try. You never know what's gonna click.
bitch.
We also had the Linkin Park news drop, which was accompanied by a lost single. You think that's why they called it Lost? Because it
It
was
might be.
lost?
Except I don't think he says "lost" in the song, or does he?
I don't think so. I
I
listened
might be
to it.
wrong though.
I listened to it like 4 or 5 times in a row. And then
That's
that
what I did
was,
too on Friday.
yeah. It's so weird with Linkin Park. Like in
I need to be in
hindsight,
the mood.
obviously, but like the song is great and like catchy and good. And then when you really listen to it, you're like, oh shit, like this is really dark. And that's like all their music, obviously. But for their music to be so good that the dark lyrics don't feel depressing sometimes, it's like, I don't know. There's just something real special about them. R.I.P. Chester.
So he says "lost" a bunch of times in this song.
That's all right. That's why we
lost,
we fact
lost
check.
all my dignity, which is what we just did, saying there was no lost mention in the song.
But yeah, it wasn't like try to keep this pain inside, but I will never be all right. Like, I mean, there's no like reading in between the lines or something
No,
like that. And that's what like so much of probably 90% or higher of his lyrics. Can't really think of any that like aren't, but
like that's
it's
what everyone said. Like at the time he died, like the writing was on the wall the whole time. Like if you were paying it close enough attention, which is like eerie when you go back and listen to some of these.
yeah. You just gotta hope with these artists that like they're able to tap into the heavy stuff, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's killing them as much as or literally, I guess, in the sense like you don't want it to really be affecting them like that, but
But we've
it
seen
happens
happen
and
way too many times.
yeah. As one of
Cobain,
my favorite Mac Miller lines is a shame that my tragedy, my masterpiece, which is like very accurate
foreshadowing.
for a lot of these guys. But it was cool. I like that they found this song and that they were able to I wonder if they had to do much to it or if it was kind of just ready to go and it didn't make the album.
I'm sure they tweaked it a little bit, and I'm curious like what the other like unreleased songs will sound like when they release this on April 7th,
So
the
is it
20th
confirmed?
anniversary.
Is it confirmed
Confirmed.
there will be other songs or just demos and stuff?
I'm pretty sure it'll be like how Hybrid Theory is. So I'm guessing like some demos and some new songs. So like kind of best of both worlds there.
Nice. That's
Hopefully.
great.
Although that Hybrid Theory I listened to once, like as you talked about last week, and I don't think I've gone back to it since.
No, that to me, like something like that is like research, but I don't think many people are going back to like what was it? Like 60 plus songs of demos
In
and like rough
five and a half
cuts and
hours.
yeah. Like I like to hear it once because it's fun to see like how these songs were born and where they came from. but it's not like something you're gonna just throw on, really.
No, it was 6 disc, but on Spotify.
Wow. Yeah, it's a lot. But it had that middle disc with like carousel and one high voltage part of me. Like I remember those as like the LimeWire songs that
Part of me, I remember that one.
yeah. You'd find these on LimeWire or Kazaa or BearShare, whatever we were using at the time.
It's like My
And
December too, right?
yeah,
Was part of that,
yes.
which you mentioned last week too, I think, but it's in the same family.
Yep. Yeah, it's right here on disc 4. Then there's live, unreleased, demos.
But then they just stuck like reanimation in here for no reason at all. Like that's the second disc.
Just all of reanimation.
Yeah, like you didn't have to like that's already a separate album. Like you can just go listen to that.
That's really funny. I didn't realize they did that. That was
Which
such a
I
bizarre
love
album.
reanimation though.
I I
For as
just
weird as it
remember
is.
being really confused by it as like a 12, 13-year-old whenever that came out. I just thought like, oh, new Linkin Park album. And then it was, I don't know what it was. I have it somewhere. It was one of those like folder DVDs. It wasn't like plastic. It was that heavy cardboard.
With like the Gangnam that's on it on the cover.
Gangnam Style?
Whoop whoop.
I'm not up on my Transformers, but
I'm not either. It might just be Transformers. And that was my gut was right, but I'm probably wrong.
so you said that this comes out the end of April?
April 7th.
Oh, beginning of April. Nice. I'm excited to listen to it once. Maybe there will be like some gems in there.
There wasn't hybrid theory, but again, it was just it's so overwhelming to even like just open up because there's just so much music you could pick from that collection.
Yeah.
That I'm just like, I'm gonna go to the regular hybrid theory on Spotify if I want to listen to hybrid theory.
Yeah, I think that's probably the general consensus for most people.
Or if I want reanimation, I just go to reanimation.
Yeah.
Same thing.
So, new Paramore. This is one we were waiting for. I liked it. What did
I
you
did
think?
too.
Okay.
I was waiting to see where
Hold,
you were
hold
gonna
it,
go first.
holding my breath.
No, I thought like my first thoughts were I thought like there's a little bit of something for every generation, for
Yeah.
every Paramore fan generation. I can't even speak right now, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Something from every generation of Paramore fans over the years can be found on this. I feel like
Yeah. Absolutely. Like um
like
what
you
was
get the
it?
punky
I
with
wanted to
like
say
the
Crave.
news,
Yeah.
you
So
get like the poppy with this is why in a way.
yeah. Crave was great. Little man, big or big man, little dignity. That
See
was
what you did
good.
there.
Yeah. I'm trying to find, I thought there was one seemed real heavy than the others, and I'm
Was it Chess
struggling.
Komika?
That was the weirdest chorus.
That one remember that song This Fire by Franz Ferdinand?
Ah, I have to hear it. I
Okay.
can't think of it
That
off the
that
top of my head.
that's what the riff reminded me of. And then it made me want to go listen to Franz Ferdinand.
It is a little Franz Ferdinandy. Na 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 na. Yeah. I uh I liked the second half of the album more, I think. See, I don't know. I like This Is Why and The News are both really good. The News, I don't like the turn off the news. Like it's just I, it just feels corny. I don't know. But the song is really good. Like these guys are they're so they're such good musicians. Like I went back and listened to a ton of Paramore and like their drummer is nasty.
Yeah. You listen to like their older stuff, or you mean just this album?
No, like I went through it. I listened to Riot, I listened to Brand New Eyes, and I think that was it. Because the album with the couch, I already like kind of know.
Emergency.
Yeah.
I think some people didn't like this album because it didn't sound enough like those first two, and like those kind of fans just have to let it go.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Like
You saw that reaction too.
it's just they based off their career and what Haley Williams has done, like I think anyone expecting like a straight up pop punk album was like delusional.
Yeah, I think everyone got all excited over like the whole pop punk revival, like Machine Gun Kelly brought about, and thought she'd lean into that too.
Yeah.
But that's not. If you listen to After Laughter, like clearly that's not who this band is anymore. Like they'll dip in there a little bit, but they're not gonna dive in, so to
Yeah,
speak.
and the instrumentals are so good that like even if it's not like in the format of pop punk, like if you're like a fan of guitars and drums and everything, like it's all here. Like, it's really creative and like
Incredibly catchy too.
yeah. I think this feels like a very like natural progression for them. For a band that decides we're not going to just stay pop punk forever, like I think this is a as good a spot as any that they could end up.
There's more to them than pop punk.
Probably. Boo.
People shut
No,
off the episode here.
just making puns for the next half hour.
No, I think you're right though. I don't know if it's because like she released, or I keep need to stop saying she. Paramore is a band,
Yeah.
so I think it's because the band released the first half as singles, so like the second half was completely new. So maybe that's like why I felt drawn to it more. I did dabble with the singles, unlike I usually do here. So I think that's why the
So we
second half
had
also stuck with me.
This Is Why was a single, The News was a single. Was there more or was it just I thought it was
There's
just
also
those
a
two.
CS Komika. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but
Nailed it.
and wasn't running out of time a single too.
Uh I don't see it here, but I sent that one to Nicole because she's always late to things. That song is just excuses for being late. I thought it was really funny.
There were some really clever lyrics on this album though. Like she's a great songwriter, Haley Williams. Like with the news, I
Yeah,
know like you didn't like the whole turn off the news, but like when she's like, "There's a war behind my right, a
yeah,
war right behind my eyes, right behind them, just like a headache."
yeah, that was good. That I mean, that song's very like relatable. Like what I like what she's saying. It's just literally only that line. Turn off the news. No, it gets stuck in my head though. So
It's incredibly catchy.
yeah, yeah. And 36 minutes. That's a sweet spot. Especially all these albums we've been listening to for February. Albums over 50 minutes. Like, whew. That's
I had a 75-minute one on Saturday, and I was like, whew.
oh my God.
I was like, I need to start looking at run times when I pick albums from now on.
Yeah, that's
That
but
should be a rule.
certain like genres, like I feel like rap tends to be longer, which makes sense since they're saying more probably. Um, like metal can be pretty long because they tend to like go off on musical tangents.
And solos and
Yeah, we just listen to short music. Like we listen to fast punk songs most of the time.
which are quick and easy to learn, and
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like homework. Like, I feel like if it's too long, it feels like homework.
yeah. But there's ones that I feel that way at first, and then I keep listening and wind up really liking it and then going back.
Yeah, like there's certain ones that are really long that like I can listen to all day, like The Wall.
Yeah.
Uh,
Was that
there's
were
that's like
you
the first one that comes to mind. But
for long albums? Yeah. You didn't listen to You listen to Animals, right?
I did.
Just 5 songs, 40 minutes.
Incredible though. That was I listened to that on a drive up to my friend's house Saturday with like the sun setting,
Oh,
and I just
that's
got
nice.
lost in that. I listened to it twice on the way up.
It's
It was that
so
good.
yeah. It's funny with these, like there's a reason classic albums are classics.
Is that one like considered a classic of theirs, or is it like kind of like a hidden gem?
Uh, I would think among, I would say among like fans, it's a classic. And then if you think of Pink Floyd, you're never really thinking of this album. So in
No,
like
I think of the big
mainstream,
three,
The
which is
Wall, Dark Side,
and
and
Wish You Were Here.
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, this one I guess you could probably say it's underrated in the grand scheme, but it's a good one. It's I
I
don't
feel like a
listen to it
bad
enough
fan.
now that Dogs is so good. It's just like
So,
just that
and
acoustic
Pigs, three different
guitar.
ones.
The acoustic guitar with like the ripping electric solo is just such a nice combo.
They complement each other.
Yeah.
But then the guitar playing on Pigs, I was just in awe.
All the
Like the three
pigs.
different ones. Like
It's
the
so
one that
nice.
comes after dogs goes dogs, sheep, no dogs, pig, and then sheep. But the three of them were just so powerful, and then just like comes back down with like a slower. Was it Pigs on a Wing Part Two
Yeah. Yeah, that's the
that
slower
wraps it
one.
up?
Pigs 3 has like the wah solo
David Gilmour, man,
for real. He's so good. I think he might be, I mean, this isn't like a hot take, but I think he might be my favorite guitarist. Like his solos are just, I mean, it's like a meme at this point in time where people are like, he says so much with so little. Like, I'd rather hear him solo than hear like some like Steve Vai do a gazillion notes. But like, there is like truth behind it. He,
yeah,
I mean, there's room for everything, but you, his solos, you really, he really does like speak through his guitar. It's awesome.
like
He's,
Comfortably Numb, the
he's like
famous one.
the king of bending. Like he will do so many notes just on one fret just by like bending the string around. It's so cool.
Now, is he the one you saw live, or did you see Roger Waters?
I saw Roger Waters.
Okay, that's the bass player, right?
Yeah, but he might have, I think he played
He
everything
does
at that
both.
show.
Yeah. No, he played Money. That's why I think I always assume that he's the bass player.
Yeah, I don't know like the specific roles of the guys. I'm not a good fan. Now I want to know though, so I want to look.
Yeah,
Oh
like
yeah, you're
growing
right.
up,
He's bass, vocals, rhythm guitar, synthesizer. They
that's a
all
little bit of
kind of,
everything.
it looks like they all did everything, but when I think of like Pink Floyd's guitar player, I think of David Gilmour. Then
Yeah,
you
that's
have
what I
like
think of.
the really early stuff that had um Sid Barrett, who was like the guitarist before David Gilmour, I think. Like if you go back to really old Pink Floyd, there is some weird shit.
Yeah, I've never listened to anything pre Dark Side.
Just go like real far back and just click on some stuff. It is absurd. Like I mean Piper at the Gates, I haven't listened to that long enough to remember, but we were at work, we were playing some stuff off A Saucer Full of Secrets. It feels like an acid trip. Like these guys are,
1968.
if they just kept doing that, they would have never got any sort of mainstream success. There's just, it's just weird, but it's good, but it's weird.
The album Metal has a ton of listens.
Yeah, metal's good. Um, it has like
Was
this really cool like bass riff that's just like doom 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 doom. Doom. That's how it like starts, and that's what I always think of. I think that's how it starts.
was that Barrett too?
Uh, Yes, I think so. I feel like
Damn, all this stuff has at least 1 million listens.
yeah, yeah, when your like least popular stuff has millions of listens, that's pretty badass.
Because growing up, I only listened to Dark Side, The Wall, and Wish You Were Here. I feel like I missed the pre-chapter and like the 80s chapter of
All right,
Pink Floyd.
so David Gilmour was on Metal and Nick
Oh, he
Mason.
was.
I think he left or passed away or something. Because then
Was
Dark Side,
Waters on it too? On Metal?
um, let me go back and look. I think he was there. Clicking, clicking, clicking. David Gilmour, Nick Mason, Richard Wright, Roger Waters. And then when I was clicking through Dark Side, it was looked like mainly David Gilmour, Richard Wright, Roger Waters. So I think he died. I think him and Sid might have passed. Sid died in 2006. Richard Wright died in 2008.
No, it's recently.
He was a touring session member from 79 to 81 and then 86 to 90. Nick Mason is not dead. If I said Nick Mason was dead, I was very wrong. He's just the drummer. It's crazy though. The whole band is alive and they don't do anything as a band.
They don't like each other, right? Waters and Gilmore.
Yeah, correct. I think Roger Waters is like so I work with a Jewish guy and he big music fan and he hates Roger Waters. Like I don't know the ins and outs of it, but apparently Roger Waters is very outspoken about certain stuff and like not a politically correct way, I think. So I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs
Go
of
the
it, but
wrong side of things.
yeah, yeah. But it seems like he's divisive and hard to work with. So I wouldn't be surprised that David Gilmour's like, nah.
Yeah. Do you ever listen to like what your band is singing about?
Yeah, it's
Like Animals was like a whole play on that pretty much.
yeah. I mean, I know he's like anti like right wing stuff because he like flew a pig balloon around dressed as Trump when I saw him, which was pretty funny.
That's so he's
But
not outspoken about
no,
bad
I
things.
think it's just something with like Palestine and Israel that he's
Oh, okay.
very has very strong opinions on.
I thought you were gonna
Um,
say like about like vaccinations or something.
nah, I don't know his back status. I just know my Jewish friend does not like him at all. So
Well, that
do with
makes sense
do with
now.
that what you will. Don't meet your heroes, kids. Imagine every artist who was bad, we just stopped listening to. There'd be nothing left.
Some I've put on the chopping block, but
Yeah. For me, it's like if I can't listen to their music without thinking about it, then I'm just gonna stop. But some like it's just not I can separate it. Others I can't, basically is what it comes
yeah,
down to.
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Okay, enough of problematic artists. We're in deeper than we need to be. What else was on your list this week?
So the 75-minute one was Gary Clark Jr.'s This Land.
Oh, that's a lot of blues.
Yeah, it was really good, but it was a very long album that had to split into like two separate listening sessions.
Yeah, I bet.
Very good, but also too long. And I ended up like kind of just starring a few tracks because like by the back end I was kind of mentally
Yeah.
drained. I felt like I was just forcing myself to listen to it instead of enjoying it, which I don't like to do with albums. But when you know, like I have to get out the door soon, I don't want to really listen to this on the drive up either.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that's
it
been
was a
I've been
great.
dealing
It
with that
was
too.
yeah, it's been a challenge, right? You'd say at on
Yeah,
some days.
because it's you don't want to not listen to an album or not want to and then like have to. It's just it's just a weird spot to put yourself in. I feel like an album like so correct me if I'm wrong, but with an album like This Land or an artist like Gary Clark, are you like hearing songs and liking songs? Because I feel like when it comes to that type of music, I'll throw it on and I'll do make dinner, play video games, and there's just like cool guitar and blues going on in the background, but I'm not like, wow, track four was really great. Like it's all just kind of blends together, not necessarily in a bad way, but not in a way where I'm picking it apart.
That's a good way to put it, especially with him. Like with him, trying to think of like who we were talking about. Oh, it's the Foo. It's kind of like the Foo Fighters argument, where like the single is so much bigger than the other songs on the album. Like it starts out with This Lamb, which is like really like outspoken, politically powerful song with a really again powerful message behind it. But the rest of the album, I feel like does blend together towards the end, while that like the title track kicks off the album and it's like such a big mission statement. But then when there's like an hour and 20 minutes left to go on the album, it kind of it could get lost on you if you're not in the right like listening headspace to listen to that.
Yeah. He's more, I'm clicking through it now. It's more lyrical than I thought it would be. Because I always, for him, I go to one album every time, and it's Gary Clark Jr. live. And
Oh, him live is unreal. And I don't know you the thing is like my favorite Gary Clark Jr. song.
which one?
I don't know you a thing. I think it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know you a thing.
Yeah. I like Catfish Blues, which is the first song on that live album, but it's just the guitar is just great. And then he just rips it, and it's like gritty, like it's just nasty guitar. Like if someone was listening to it who didn't who likes like nice gentle music, they would this is like jarring, but it's just so good.
He's an
He goes
incredible
off.
guitar player though.
Yeah, I was sad. We didn't really catch his set at See Here Now because we got real close for Billy Strings. And then by the time we made it over there, he was like wrapping up. So we kind of watched him from afar. Would have liked to have been up close for him too, but like you got to make decisions.
The downside of festivals.
Yeah. Well, that's why for we won't go on too much of a tangent, but for Sunday night this year, we'll just post up. We'll get a great spot for Weezer and then a great spot for Foo Fighters.
Because they'll be on the same stage, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to be. And it'll be I don't have the lineup open, but someone else on that row with Weezer will be at the other stages and we'll just have to miss them, but I don't care.
Make it work.
I like to do Saturday, get there kind of early, enjoy the whole day. Sunday, I'll get in at like after 3 and just post up at the one stage and stay there.
Yeah, I look at the lineup again, see if there's anyone else I want to catch.
Yeah, we got time. Plenty of
Yeah.
time to figure that out.
But yeah, Gary Clark Jr. Uh, I feel like lyrically it was his best album probably, but also a very long one that I probably need to spend more than a day with to really
Yeah,
grasp everything he's touching on. But a great album, but
yeah,
again, one you need to slow cook.
yeah. I've
And then we both listened to Belladonna, right?
yeah, just just delightful. That was one where I knew more than I realized.
I did pull up her See Here Now set list as I was listening to it to see which song she played off this so I can like really focus in on those ones. And
How
I feel like some of the best ones from Belladonna she didn't play,
uh I don't even I don't even remember.
like Highwayman,
Oh yeah. Um
Leather and Lace.
yep, that was a good one.
Although I
She's
think she was
just
like dating Don Henley at the time, and maybe she doesn't want to remember that, so she doesn't play that song.
yeah, some of the songs are really an open book. I'm like I was just always assume it's about uh
Lindsay.
yeah, thank you.
I thought it was a good album, but I do think they're better when they're together as Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's pretty fair. But it
Like
was
they're a
cool.
powerhouse when you have his guitar and her vocals together.
Oh yeah, and then you get like the other members having songs where they're the focus. So like it's just like a nice. You don't get bored listening to a Fleetwood Mac album because it's
No,
like that's kind of how I listened to the Fugees, who I
that was a
think,
long album, right?
yeah, which is short for the Refugees, which I learned listening to the album. The score, it's like a old school like New York hip hop album. That's where
That's
Lauren
classic.
Lauren Hill is from, which like I never knew that. That
Ready or Not.
yeah, that I was like, do I just know this song or does everyone just sample this song? Like I
It
couldn't
does
even
get sampled a
tell.
lot.
It was so good. The Mask was really good. Um,
No Woman, No Cry.
Cowboys, that was that was so good. Like listening to this is super obvious that it was a classic album.
And then she went
96.
out
It's
to
not
drop a
like
solo
that.
album that was like just as big,
Wow.
and then never released anything else after that.
Yeah, that's wild.
I don't know
But
the backstory though,
yeah,
but there's a reason why she stopped.
I didn't get to because I listened to this today, so I didn't get to like research it. But I'm gonna look up just like whatever YouTube documentary I could find on this band because I want to know their story. I think it's so cool how like used to have like rap groups. I don't know if I'm just not in the know, but I don't know many like rap groups now. Like you had like Odd Future, which was like Vince Staples, I think, and Vince Staples. Yeah, and um,
Feature,
yeah, right. And then
maybe, I don't
who's
know.
the other guy who put out that album, Igor? I'm blanking on his name. Really weird
Tyler,
album.
the Creator.
Yeah, I think he was involved with that. But like, I don't know. I don't know uh many rap albums that are like a group anymore where they all go back and forth. But maybe that's just my fault. But used to have like
No, I
this
feel like you're right about that.
like this was making me think of like Wu-Tang and stuff like that. And like, yeah, I just don't hear much of this like style anymore. But
D12, De La Soul.
yeah, uh, big D12 fan. No surprise as a suburban white boy. But they also had there was like so many things on this album that I noticed that have been referenced before. Like at the end of one song, he goes, "You requested it, so we rewound," and like that's from the Six. If you're reading this, it's too late.
Oh,
Like
Drake loves to sample Fugees.
gunshot means rewind, pause means rewind. You request. I forget how it goes exactly, but like he says it in like it's spot on, and then they also say, check out my melody, but I would love to know where that originated because that's like everyone uses that.
Like Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, that was exactly who um,
Yeah, like Drake has sampled like X Factor before, which is like a Lauryn Hill song. Like he loves to sample them.
that's cool. Yeah, like I've heard people mention Lauryn Hill in their songs a lot, but I never knew like exactly where she came from. So this
Well,
was
she's
cool.
from New Jersey too.
Nice. They reference Jersey a lot in the album. It was
They're all
cool though.
from
This
there.
one,
That's right.
my cousin recommended to me. He's a big rap fan, so I asked him for some of his favorites. He gave me a few, but this was the one I took because I had to narrow it down. And then I listened to another album, complete opposite direction, but it was a death metal album by a band called Death, and they were like considered to be like the most influential in like heavy metal and like pioneered death metal. So this album's
Is that
symbolic.
where the name came from?
So
Death metal.
no, it came from this guy's brother died when they were like teenagers and he said he wanted to name the band Death to like take the word back so he would stop associating it with like death. Instead, he's just like, I'm gonna just like make it my band. So it's kind of cool idea.
That's
But
really interesting.
I at first could wasn't sure because like metal like this, it's like a lot of growling vocals. It's kind of hard to get by.
You don't know what they're
Um,
saying.
no, but I got past it. It's not so growly that you can't understand, but it's definitely like flirting the line. But I wound up getting past it pretty easily, and I didn't think I would. Like the music is just so good. Like it'll have like I mean, it's metal music, but it'll have like crazy solos and then just get real spacey and groovy, time changes, all that good stuff. It was I wound up liking this way more than I thought. And the lyrics were actually good when I like looked them up to follow along, but you're not really listening and like but check out the song Sacred Serenity. That was a good one. I try to like pick one song from these albums. So people want to listen to the whole thing, like just look up that song to get an idea. That one was cool. I like it. I like hearing these bands that apparently like pave the way for other bands.
It's cool you get like all the references now in hindsight.
Yeah. Yeah, you see where things came from. But that was about it. I had also had Drug Church on here. The album Cheer is so good. I don't know how I haven't listened to this until now.
Is that the one that came out last year? Or
Uh
Cheers, the red one?
the red one. This was
That one is
2018, I think.
phenomenal. Yeah, that
So
one's really
good.
good.
Weed Pin. Oh my God, that song's
Weed Pin,
awesome.
yes.
So, his vocals kind of reminded me of Iron Sheik. I don't know if you listen to them, but
And like hot water music a little bit.
they're another one that I hear talked about all the time and don't really know.
Good old Chuck
Um,
Reagan.
I also had Super Chunk on here. We'll talk about that more when you listen. But
To the
so
end of the
this
month.
this led me to the question. Um, I'm not sure how to phrase it. So I guess I'll say of what you listen to, if you could snap your fingers and just know an album inside and out, which one would you take?
From the past week or in
From
general.
everything you've listened to this February.
If I could snap my fingers and know every word
Yeah, basically like with Drug Church, I was like, I just want to like sing along and like rock to this, but I don't know the songs yet. It's gonna take a while. And I want to just get there because it's so fun when you do. But you have to listen and listen. Like it's hard to get to that level with an album, but it would be so cool if like you could just snap your fingers and make it happen.
I think either Blind Melon or Bad Religion Suffer.
Yeah. Yeah, because
So
you went
I'm gonna
more
pick two. I know that's not the question, but it's hard for me to pick between those two.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like it leans more towards like punk or pop punk and stuff like that. Where like
But
being able to sing along, like you don't need to sing along to like animals.
no,
That's not
and then
really
the
gonna change much.
Prince might sound weird. Some of the lyrics
Yeah.
there.
You could have done Gangsta's Paradise. Being able to rap along to an album is a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. Also, maybe I didn't realize this till we started doing this, but I was like looking back on like past Februarys I've done, and I didn't realize like Snoop Dogg took off like all his '90s stuff off Spotify.
Really?
Like Doggy Style is one of the best albums I've ever found doing this, and it's not even on there anymore.
What? No, no, you're right. This is just a fake playlist called Doggy Style. Wow. That is a great album. When we went to San Fran back in college, I decided to just like make that album my playlist for the trip and I listened to the crap out of it.
It's so good.
Yeah, when we were lost in that airport or whatever happened, I remember like we took some sort of like tram off the airport and like it was late and no one knew where to go. everyone was stressed, and I was just like listening to doggy style, just like rocking out.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, if I didn't have that album, I wouldn't have remembered that detail. But
You had gin and juice to get you through.
yeah, I had a soundtrack to go with the trip. That's a fun idea. Like when I went, I mean, this one's not as creative, but like when I went to visit my friend in Nashville, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna listen to the shit out of Johnny Cash. Like just pick someone from the area and
And deep dive it.
yeah.
Not a bad idea. Get the
No, it's kind
vibes
of
of the city
cool.
you're going to.
Yeah. What do we got next week? Well, what are you excited for on your list next week?
So next week
Ooh, you got Bowie next week
I do
and
like his last
Misfits.
album before he drops off for like a decade.
Damn.
Got the Grateful Dead next week too.
Ooh, you're all over the place.
Yeah, I
You're gonna
got
have
Pretenders, Pat Benatar, Bowie, Misfits, Maggie Rogers, Grateful Dead.
nice.
Nice, very diverse group there. What about you?
Um, I got Velvet Underground. I'm
That'll
excited
be a good
for
one.
this Jason Isbell and the 400 unit. I don't know
Which
much about
album?
him. The Nashville sound. Speaking of Nashville, um,
Yeah,
Lauren
that's a great
recommended this
album.
one to me, and she like we have like IM chat at work. We'll just randomly send like lyrics of what we're listening to, and this guy has some like really good lyrics that just like resonate a whole lot. So I'm excited to dig into that one.
He's an incredible songwriter. Trying to see which is on this album again.
I
Because
got
there's
a
like,
oh yeah, keep
oh,
sorry.
If We Were Vampires is on there. Yeah, that's like a devastating song, but like really well written.
I'll make sure that when I listen to this, I can really listen and not just like have it on while playing video games.
Definitely a good car listen, I'd say.
Okay. Car and dog walk. I got Queens of Stone Age, which I don't know how much Storyteller you've read, but he talks about forming them crooked vultures, which was
Which
what
is probably like the weirdest side project of his.
he's like after playing Learn to Fly at every show for a decade, you really start looking for something else to do.
Just fair.
Yeah, I understand
I
that.
should re-listen to that because I thought it was weird in college. I wonder if I'll like it more now.
Crooked Vultures.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll probably throw it on just because it came up in the book. So listen along. I might just power like not power through, but I don't know if I can wait to keep to keep reading because I'm really into it right now.
it's that good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a lot of time this morning after all the pizza and wings and beer from yesterday. A lot of reading time this morning.
If I have a lot of time next weekend with a 3-day weekend,
Oh, he has some crazy ghost stories. Like, oh my God, this life is insane. Like,
does he get into
it's just crazy.
the substance stuff? I saw like one chapter is called DUI, so I was wondering if he gets into it.
He talks about getting a DUI on a scooter in Australia. So, not really.
But no, okay.
Yeah, he's like, I could have easily turned around. I just didn't think I was drunk, and I also didn't think he's like I was on a scooter. Like I didn't think it mattered. So
Yeah, the
he's like,
documentary gets into that stuff, so I guess he's just not getting into it in the book.
yeah, I'm not I'm not sure. He did talk about his caffeine intake. 5 pots a day.
That is
Pots.
nuts.
That's insane.
He's
That's
like a chain smoker too,
absolutely
wasn't he?
insane.
Or back
Probably.
then he
It
was.
sounded like it from like his stories. It was always like cigarettes and beef jerky or whatever was his.
Crown Royal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great though. I'm already thinking about the next one, like Our Town or like one of the Rob Harvilla mentions.
Next book, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like dying to dive into a music book because I'm about to finish the fantasy book I've been reading, so I want to fill it with a music book. We'll see. We'll talk.
Yeah,
I won't if it's one we want to do for the pod, then I won't because I want to read it with you, but I do want to read a music book
yeah.
next.
Keep it going.
Yeah. What do we got for next week? Anything coming out?
Uh, Not sure. I have to check my list, but I know like Pierce the Veil snuck up on me, so I'm sure something else will this week.
Yeah. And we're recording a little early this week, so we'll we might maybe some crazy news will break between now and then, or some great albums that we didn't know.
Get the Fish tour announcement,
I hope so. I hope it comes out this week. I feel like it should.
or it could be March, based on that list you sent me with like the last
It's
couple
such a
announcements.
it's such a funny list.
Like, not sure what I can take away from this, but here's when they've announced it the last 5 years.
Well, there's Bethel Woods plans big summer event. There's an article that came out yesterday.
That's New York, right?
That's where Woodstock was. So Fish Festival. Oh my God. Please, please. I need it.
That would be wild.
That would be so much fun. Yeah, I don't know. No no official info yet, just the rumors that have them starting in July, has them coming through Philly, bunch of MSG dates. This list doesn't even have AC on it. I don't believe any of the rumors until it just comes
I was
out
gonna say I
because
feel like they've all been wrong so far.
yeah, yeah, we'll see. All right, I think that's gonna do it for this week. Thank you everyone for listening. We love you, and we'll talk to you soon.
David Bowie.